to News Around Africa with me, Esther Wilson. Protesters in Nairobi ran for cover on Thursday as shots rang out. Kenyan police deployed tear gas against them. Police had previously shut down key routes around the capital, hoping to prevent demonstrations, marking 2 years since a landmark Gen Z uprising. Thousands of people angry about economic hardships and corruption took to the streets in 2024. The day ended with them storming parliament to force the cancellation of new taxes. More than 60 people were killed and 82 forcibly or involuntarily disappeared over the course of the demonstrations, according to the rights group Civicus Monitor. June 25th has since become a day of annual protest as frustrations with President William Ruto's government continues. Ruto said this week that people have a right to protest, but warned against anyone mobilized to destroy property or cause chaos. A British Airways pilot has been sentenced to more than 8 years in prison after traveling across England to rape a 12-year-old girl he contacted through Instagram. Kwame Yeboah, 30 years old, from Reading, first messaged the child in late 2025. The girl told him she was 17, but prosecutors say it would have been clear to him that she was much younger. Yeboah worked as a first officer at British Airways since 2023 and had spent over 17 years involved in basketball as a player and referee. After making contact online, Yeboah began sending the girl inappropriate images. He called her around twice a week, making her feel she was in a relationship with someone who cared about her. Months later, he drove from Reading to Wirral in Merseyside and met the child in person. He drove her to an isolated location where he assaulted her 3 times. The girl later told police she struggled to understand what was happening and felt nervous and confused. A few days later, the attack, a friend told the victim's mother. Police were informed and Yeboah was identified using details he had given the child. When arrested, he gave no comment answers throughout his interview. Guilty plea and sentencing on 22nd April. Yeboah pleaded guilty to 3 counts of rape of a girl under 13 and 1 count of sexual assault of a girl under 13. He was sentenced to 8 years and 4 months in jail and given a 15-year restraining order. Senior Crown Prosecutor Thomas Halnon said Yeboah would have known from the early conversations, including the girl discussing school and appearing in school uniform in photos, that she was not the age she claimed. He groomed the victim into believing she was in a relationship with someone who cared about her, Hanlon said. In reality, he exploited her for his own sexual gratification. In South Africa, speaking ahead of planned nationwide marches on 30th June, the leader of South Africa's anti-illegal immigrants group, March and March, has insisted that the movement is peaceful. Addressing the media on Wednesday, Jacinta Gobezi Zuma said that any potential lawlessness must be blamed on the failure of state policing and border control. If anyone wants to point a finger at someone who must take the responsibility, start with those who allowed illegal immigration in the first place. Those are the ones who must take responsibility for anything that happens on the 30th, she said. The movement has imposed an end-of-the-month deadline for undocumented foreigners in the country to self-deport. Its ultimatum has no legal backing, but has already led thousands of people from other African nations, including Ghana, Nigeria, Malawi, and Mozambique, to flee. Gobezi Zuma said people should not point a finger at the movement for troubles facing the country. We have put our head on the block here, and everyone in the world is looking at us, calling us hateful things, swearing at us, she said, and the government is acting as if this issue of illegal immigration is our problem. It's not our fault that there is illegal immigrants in the country. We didn't invite anyone. Despite claims that the movement is peaceful, there have been numerous reports of violence across the country linked to anti-foreigner tensions. Gobeze Zuma said all they are asking is for undocumented immigrants to return to their countries so that limited resources can benefit poor and vulnerable South Africans. With the official unemployment rate above 30%, the collective grouping March and March and over 20 civic organizations say foreigners are taking scarce jobs and resources. A success for us will be the government looking at South Africans and saying, "We've heard you. We will do what you have asked us, which is to prioritize you." She said, growing anti-immigrant tensions fueled by a torrent of online hate are blamed for killings of 2 Mozambicans more than a week ago and various other incidents against foreigners. Foreign nationals have told of intimidation and beatings by mobs going door to door to tell them to leave by 30th June. This has raised fears of a repeat of the bloodshed that has marked previous flare-ups of anti-migrant sentiment in South Africa. Law enforcement has been ramped up ahead of nationwide anti-immigrant marches due to take place on the 30th. The flare-up comes as campaigning starts for the local government elections when President Cyril Ramaphosa's long-dominant ANC party is expected to face another drubbing after losing its national majority in 2024. That's all we have time for on this edition of News Around Africa by Magic TV, and I'm Esther Wilson.